All right, welcome to the BFR podcast. Today we have a great show for you. We are going to be recapping the Bears versus Colts joint practices. Before we kind of get into all that, we are going to have Kyle Brandt on here just to talk Justin Fields, DJ Moore, and kind of what he's been hearing about the stadium and everything like that. So before we bring him in here in just a couple minutes, Ficky, there's some news. Justin Fields is not starting. So first of all, I want to get your thoughts on that, man. You said thank God.
Yeah, I'm cool with it. You know what I mean? We got our 2 touchdown, 3 passes game, so I've got enough excitement to carry me over. I just don't, I say this every time, but like with these preseason games, there's always that likelihood of an injury. We saw in actually the Colts joint practice that Fields got, I think it was accidental, like, kind of got hit in the bottom of the knee or like lower legs, and that's where injuries happen very easily. So I'm like, bro, it's against the Colts. They did their joint practice. We got enough content from that. Like, I'm cool. I'm just ready for the regular season. So if he sits out, it's okay. If he plays, I'm excited. But like, there's no loss here. It's a win-win scenario for me. What about you?
I kind of feel the same way. We were talking, before we came on air, that, it's a huge night in UFC. So, I mean, it's a late night game, I believe, is what you mentioned as far as the Bears versus Colts. 7. So I'm going to watch it. I'm going to take my notes, but to be able to recap it maybe Sunday and not right away, because if Fields has a big day, I want to talk about it, and so now it's like, okay, we'll recap it Sunday and we get to watch UFC and kind of just have a good night. So it's nice just before the regular season gets here that we get a little bit of a break. So I'm curious if they're going to play him week 3 or, the game number 3.
It's interesting. Typically what we've seen is like, they'll do the first 2 and then they sit the third. But since he's sitting the second, I almost wonder if he's just done. Like, it might be, and I'm okay with that, but it might just be over. It might be, they might just say, hey, look, we've seen enough of you, and that's fine. So, I mean, like I said, it's preseason. Really, preseason is really about the guys that are, the depth players, trying to find those risers, those people that are fighting for those final positions, right? So it's going to be, I know we're both going to watch, but there's definitely some people in the first half I'm going to have some eyes on, like Travis Gibson again, right? I'm going to see if he can replicate that, to see if he can. I mean, he may not be able to exactly, it's hard to replicate like balling out like that, but I want to see some splash plays from him as well. Someone like Tyler Scott. I know he didn't practice today, but I wonder if he's going to be playing in the game as well. I know there's some people that are sitting out. Like, I know Brisker probably won't because he wasn't padded up. We know Eddie Jackson, he got, a little banged up yesterday, so I doubt he'll be playing. But like, I think like Kyler Gordon, Tyreek Stevenson, I'll be wondering if they'll be doing it, because it's like we talked about, right? In our last show about the preseason, it's that we have a lot of young guys, 21 players from the past 2 drafts, and not including UDFAs that have been on the team and things like that we can keep an eye out for. So we still have enough storylines and players that we can hone in on to make the game like somewhat interesting. Not as interesting as watching Fields to DJ Moore for 60 yards, but there's still some players that are, can keep my interest at least for the first half.
Right. Yeah. So, I agree with all that, man. There's so many interesting players that, watching Saturday is still a must. Obviously, we want to do it. This is what we do. We have our own podcast, of course, and everything, and we kind of write about it and talk about it. But even if I was just a fan, there's just so many rookies, so many interesting storylines. There's this game, although it doesn't mean much to Fields, there's a ton of players that this could be their last, snap in the NFL. I said it last pod, but it's the truth. Guys are going to be fighting for and auditioning for other teams as well. And we have a bunch of position battles that we'll get into later in the show. We'll be bringing Kyle, like I said, here in a minute. He is almost here. Ficky, you have anything before we kind of bring him in, man?
Man, I don't know. I mean, there's the injuries, it's still kind of like, I'm not like too concerned. And I think that's why I'm like, okay with like, if people are banged up in the slightest, like, don't play them at all. And I know people are kind of looking like, yo, there's a lot of people that aren't out there. I mean, Nate Davis still hasn't gotten in. And I'm like, yeah, but I'd rather just like rest everybody until we get to week 1. Because when it comes to the Packers at that time, you want everybody full, ready to go. And you're going to be looking back at preseason being like, that doesn't even matter anymore, right? So I trust the coaches and the medical staff and the training staff and things like that they have a better understanding than what me and you do. So like, I'm not really too concerned.
Real quick, our guy, Nick over here, Chicago Nick, Justin in the year, Chicago Bears. He asked if you're dropping any more albums and facts. Or no, you are dropping. Yeah, absolutely. Hey, I'm going to go ahead and send this over to Kyle, and he is coming in here in a moment. If you guys have questions for Kyle that you want to kind of ask him, that's just on your mind, go ahead and drop them in the chat, and we'll go ahead and make sure to get that over here. So I'm going to go ahead and get the overlay kind of set up. Ficky, do we have any questions?
Nope. Oh, well, here we got someone on Facebook. Edward DeTusa. Did you guys ever pick that DJ Moore jersey winner from last preseason game?
I did.
I did see the DM from Dave.
No, I have it here. He said he didn't see it. Oh, who was the winner? I think
so, or I did see. It might be a typo there, but
yeah. So we have the winner here is Jaden Dickman. I announced it. It was sent out this week. Yeah, he's Jaden Dickman on Twitter. We're going to be doing another one. We're going to have a BFR giveaway as well. But right now we don't have any more giveaways. So we'll get there though.
Don't worry. There'll be more on the
almost
way.
Here.
Yeah, the Nick said sit Edmonds, Brisker, Davis, Fields, and more out all games. Agreed, Ficky. Yeah, listen, sit everybody if we need to. Oh, looks like we got Kyle. So,
yo,
hey Kyle, can you hear us?
I got you. What's going on?
What's
good,
Kyle?
Man? So
thanks
we have
for
Kyle.
Me.
Absolutely, thanks for coming on, man. We have Kyle Brandt here. He is a co-host for Good Morning Football. If you're a Bears fan, you know who he is. So I'm not going to go into huge spiel here, but Kyle, thank you so much for hopping on and taking the time to speak with us. How you doing? Football season's almost here.
Football season's almost here. I'm thrilled to be here. You guys caught me at a great time where my wife and both my children are in California and I'm in New York. So like I'm the master of my domain right now. I am in a great mood. I'm rested. I'm fed. I'm listening to the music I want, the shows that I want. Like, you will never get a better me than right now. So I'm thrilled to be here with you guys.
Dude, and you're wearing a badass shirt too. That's fire. Where did you get that at? That is, let's show the audience. That is beautiful.
You know what? It's an old back in the day baseball team that I should know more about, but somebody sent it to me. And honestly, like, one of the cool things about what I get to do is eventually, every once in a while, someone will just send you free crap. Like, and it's like, it could be t-shirts or bumper stickers or candles. And you go to work and there's just this free stuff. And they're like, we want you to have this. And so some people are like, oh, I'm not going to take that. I'm like, I'll take it. I'll take it and I'll wear it. Most of my laundry these days is free t-shirts. So like the people who sent me this, I love you. It looks really cool. And I'll wear it for probably 3 years.
Dude, that's awesome. That's awesome. So you're in New York. Do you have like a house? Are you kind of in a hotel, Airbnb? What's the setup like?
No. Like you hear New York and you're thinking like, you know, Times Square and taxi cabs and stuff. So picture, I'll put it in Chicago language for you. I'm like in the north suburbs. It's just like where I grew up in Chicago. I grew up in Lincolnshire, and I am like, if you go above New York City north, and like you would on like the 94 out of Chicago, that's where I live now. I still ended up in the north suburbs. So I live in a normal house. I'm not anywhere close to any of that nonsense in the city. When I got here with my kids, I wasn't putting strollers and taxi cabs and car seats. No way. We're suburb folk. I'm not going to ever misrepresent myself.
Love it. I love it. So Kyle, we'll jump right in here. So Justin Fields joint practices with the Colts. He had a great day today. Pretty consistent practices back to back, but you've been at camp. You've talked with DJ, Justin Fields. Can you tell us like what you like, what you like that you've seen, and then what have you not liked, if there's anything?
Well, first of all, I love that they did well against the Colts because that one's for Flus. Okay, that's for Coach Flus. Like, we need to back up our guy. You can't go against his old squad and look crappy, rusty, like wannabes. Like, that one was for Coach. And I have to tell you, you asked me what I like. I showed up to training camp. This is right when it was getting started. This was almost 2 weeks ago, I think now. And, you know, I'm talking to some beat writers I know, and I love Jeff Joniak, and I was talking to Jeff. And I go, all right, so we know Justin. We've watched DJ for years. We know Terrell Edmonds. We know a lot of these guys. I got to tell you, I don't know anything about this head coach. I know he's from the Colts and defense and all, but I think that if you were to walk 32 NFL head coaches down Main Street, USA, in any town in the United States, I think Eberflus might be the 32nd, just most recognizable. Like, if Bill Belichick is one, and Andy Reid is up there too. Like, I think Flus might be 32. And that includes like people like Gannon and Steichen that like we're just learning about. So I'm saying to the people who work in camp, I go, tell me about the head coach. I feel like I know nothing. And they're like, he's so cool. He's all about ball. And I'm like, that sounds like every coach description ever. He's so cool. He's all about ball. So one of the guys who worked there with the Bears, we had some time, and he's like, practice doesn't start for a little while. Do you want to meet coach? And I go, hell yes, I want to meet coach. So I go up, and he's got this amazing, beautiful office in Lake Forest in the facility, this gorgeous new glistening palace they have there. And I walk in, and it was the coolest thing because I had told the Bears that my 9-year-old son Calvin, was going to come to camp. But he just hadn't gotten there yet. He was like running late in traffic. I walk into head coach's office, and there's Flus standing there, hands on his hips. And the first thing he says to me before he even says hello is, "Where's Calvin?" And I was like, "You're talking about my son. He couldn't make it." He goes, "I got a gift for him right here." And he gave me this pin to give to him. And I got to say, I thought maybe Flus was a little dry, maybe like just a little low energy film room guy. He is twisted steel physically. He's a ball of energy. He's wearing Jordan 1s. He tells me that he and Poles and the whole coaching staff are going to wear Jordan 1s on the sideline this year for games. And then he tells me this whole thing he does in the office about, I have every single Bears Hall of Famer ever behind his desk. It's not the current players. It's anybody from Buckus and Peyton and Sayers and all those. And he says, when I bring in free agents or I bring in rookies, I teach them about all these people behind them. And then at the end of the meeting, I go back and I say, now, which ones do you remember? And he like gives them this test. And so I go, that's the coolest thing ever. And he goes, and I'll tell you what, you know who did incredible on the test, who remembered every single name like that? And I go, I don't know who. He goes, Darnell Wright. It's the best we've ever had on this. This guy knows his stuff. He's sharp. He's into it. He wants to know the history. And so, needless to say, I just gave you like a 7-minute story. But Eber Flus, man, big Coach Flus guy. So I was thrilled the Bears did well against his whole team, the Colts.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's great to see because I feel like Flus is like a big culture. Like he came in here into like a dog pile of crap, right? And really had to set a standard. And so I think last year it took a little bit. I think Poles talked about that, how like, it takes a little bit for people to kind of get accustomed and things like that. But I think this year we're finally seeing like that bought into that hits principle, which he talks about all the time, and kind of like that high energy. I think on the 1920 football drive, Dave, they talked about something, his quote, which I really loved, is like, no one's going to practice harder than us. And I know like you may hear that's coach's spiel, but I feel like we actually see it. Like reporters are backing it up from what they're seeing in practice. And we even saw that with versus the Colts. It just seemed like, especially that first joint practice, it just felt like the Bears brought more of that, the heat. And I think it's because they're actually practicing what they preach.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And you know what? I committed a media faux pas. I didn't answer one of your questions. Because you said, what did you like about camp and what did you not like? And I got so wrapped up in my Eberflus love letter, I didn't say what I don't like. Trying to think of something I didn't like. I'll tell you this, I met Poles too. He shows up exactly like you think. You know how I was surprised by Eberflus? I was not surprised by Poles. He's like massive, a little serious, like intense, like nice and congenial, but like there's no like grab assing. Like he is there. He is at work. He's doing business. He's living in some of the same places that my friends live, so we talked about that, but he was dead serious. I can't say anything objectively that I don't like, but my eyes were drawn to something watching the offense go that I know a lot of eyes are being drawn to, and one of the biggest enigmas in this 2023 Bears. You scan the field, and you see Fields, and you see the running backs, and then DJ just kind of has this cool vibe about him where you can just tell he's a star. And then your eyes stop on one player, and you go, oh, my God, Claypool is huge. Look at that guy. He looks like a defensive end out there. That's a wide receiver. And then you watch the drills and the practice, and he's just like one of the guys blending. He looks like he's going to be Calvin Johnson, but his body language, his communication, he's just fit going with the herd. So I always feel like he is such a massive swing player for this team. And he is so pivotal that if he just is good, I think he's a 7 out of 10. Like they could really have something special, but if he's a 4, it's gonna be so disappointing.
Yeah, especially for what they gave up. That's always what's kind of you go back to.
So it's kind of tough for him though, because it's like they had no idea, we were gonna luck into the number 1 pick, right? And so like at the time, the move makes sense, right? Like we had nobody. Mooney was injured, so. I think I'm a big proponent on like people are going to go get their bag. So
Mm-hmm.
and he's admitted to it. This is his year to get his paper. So generational money. So I feel like we're going to get his best. Now, is his best 8-9? I don't know. Is his best 6? That's what I have to wait for. But I would be highly surprised, like shocked, if we see anything close to what we saw last year.
And another thing with like Chase Claypool, I don't know, Kyle, are you familiar with the show that the Bears put out like on YouTube? It's called 1920 Drive. It's just behind the scenes. Chase Claypool, they caught up with him and he talked about, obviously it's a motivating year, but he ended it with, the biggest focus for him is winning this division and making the playoffs, for this team. So I like that attitude. Obviously, it is, he is talking to the media, but it's fun that he's saying the right things. Now it's time for him to produce. Speaking of producing, your famous, like for me, the air yard segment on Monday for Good Morning Football, I loved it. It kind of like exuberated everyone, every Bears fan, what we were thinking. So you watched the preseason, obviously. Why do you think he was scrutinized so much by air yards? And then secondly, what is like your unfiltered opinion on Justin Fields? Like, do you expect him to really take that jump or like just what is your opinion heading into year 3?
First of all, about the air yards thing. Come on, guys. All right, I understand that this has become a term in the last few years that everyone is so apt to use and is so trendy and makes you sound so erudite about football. If you are someone who is in the weeds and studies the analytics and Pro Football Focus and you want to talk about air yards, fine. I'm seeing every booger eater on Twitter with an egg avatar saying air yards, air yards. Like, I've never heard that term so much than after the Bears scorched the opponent for 2 long touchdowns that all of a sudden they were being crucified because Fields didn't throw the ball far enough. I remember watching the Eagles and the Patriots in the Super Bowl and the Nick Foles fake touchdown at the goal. No one was referencing the air yards that Trey Burton threw to him. Who cares? It was a touchdown. It was just, it's one of these terms now that posers use to sound smart about football. And all of a sudden, everything the Bears were doing was being nullified by air yards. I hate that term. If you guys use it, I don't mind you because I know you guys are real ones. I will never use that term. I can't stand it. It was like a few years ago, Release Point was having like a renaissance. Release Point like walked so air yards could run, and that's all they wanted to hear about. What I feel about Fields, it's really for Fields. I think it's, if my honest take, it's going to come down to air yards. No, I think I think if he can't do it now, guys, and I'm a huge Justin fan. I know you are. If he can't, then what are we doing? Like, this is it. Yeah. This is right. You got the same offense. You got all these receivers. The line's going to be, I think, pretty good. The defense is going to be better. You're a first-round guy. It's the same thing I'm saying about Mac Jones. Like, if the Patriots can't win a playoff game this year that no one's expecting them to do, then what are we doing? We're in the business of quarterbacks, and if they're not the guy, then get out of here. So, Justin, I'm not saying he's not the guy. I'm saying I'm not giving any leniency to the guy at all about, like, well, another warm-up year and next year. No, this guy, we've had the warm-up year. You got the crap kicked out of him in year 1. He turned into like kind of a star on like a terrible team in year 2. Now this is time to be a star on a good team in year 3. I think that's a natural evolution.
Yeah, especially based off how we see other teams, right? We always see that comparison where it's like, once Hurts got AJ Brown, it's like once I can't think of his name. Josh Allen got Diggs. Right. Yeah. So it's they're following that path because the NFL is a very much repeat league. Once they see something kind of works, other teams kind of follow that path. So if he can't replicate something similar to both of those, I think they're going to look and say, hey, look, we kind of set it up apples to apples to the best of our ability. We basically gotten rid of all the excuses we possibly have. If you can't do it, we have 2 first-round picks next year. Caleb Williams, welcome to the Bears. Right. So I agree with you completely on that.
Well, listen, Caleb Williams next year, you guys heard it. There was people saying Bryce Young this year, like, let's cut bait already, which would have been idiotic. One word about DJ Moore, because I remember when the trade happened, and it was so exciting to have the number 1 overall pick, and it was just like you have this lottery ticket, and they traded it, and you're like, all right, they get DJ Moore. And I remember some of my just friends and people I'm on text with are like, isn't DJ Moore always that guy in your fantasy league who, like, you took a wide receiver late and he's like the last one of the tier 1 or the first one of the tier 2? Isn't he kind of just pretty good? And I know where they're coming from, but I have to tell you, having watched what DJ did, obviously in the preseason game, but just watching him in practice and talking with him, that's a bunch of BS. He was a terrible quarterback in a pretty bad franchise,
Right.
and he still was putting up 1,000-yard numbers, which started with what was left of Cam Newton and then just playing with whoever. Like, everything from his body language to his aesthetics as a receiver in practice to how much he talks to Fields to, like, when they're doing their individuals, there's a buzz every time he comes up. This guy is not just a very good receiver. He is a star receiver, and I think they're going to be thrilled they traded for him. I have some doubts about the Bears. DJ Moore's not one of them.
I love it. Hey, Kyle, so we have a question from one of our listeners. It's about 2018 camp compared to 2023. Which team has looked better? If you can remember 2018 and right now and kind of the vibes and the energy?
Yeah, 2018 seems like a long damn time ago, doesn't it?
Half a decade. It's so long.
It really does. I mean,
Oh,
that 2018 had some juice too. I mean, it really did.
Yeah.
I think the difference is, I mean, the same thing that we've talked about in Chicago for 107 years is as good as 2018 was. Like, there was no one who looked like Fields doing any of the quarterback drills. No one who could run like him, throw like him. So it's just been every Bears team of my life that's always been this. Wow, I mean, like the 01 team was really good, but like my guy Jim Miller was limited, and the 06 team was incredible, but like Grossman was Grossman. Like, I just don't think this is. I would love to be like 1 year for the Bears. It would be so refreshing. Imagine if we were like, man, this offense is so good, and the quarterback's incredible, but the defense is terrible, and we can't run the ball. Like, it's never the story.
Never,
the special teams suck. It would almost be refreshing to be like, we're set on quarterback. We said to fix everything else. So I think that's the difference between 2018. I love the 2018 team. At least I didn't camp. But no one in that entire locker room was the presence, the vibe, or the talent, or the aura of number one for the Bears this year.
That's fair. That is definitely fair. And that's why last year, 4 games kind of the end of the season where the defense gave up like 5 million points, but the offense was able to put up 4 million. I was happy. I'm like, look, if we're going to lose, but we can score 30 points, we used to lose games 13-6 or something like that. Like, I'm so tired of not being able to reach double digits in scoring on offense. So I definitely agree with you on that, Kyle.
It'd be fun to lose that way.
So Kyle, another question for you. This one kind of put you on the spot. So talking about training camp, preseason's almost over. Do you think the Bears can make the playoffs? And if so, are you thinking wild card spot, or do you think they win the division?
I think they can make the playoffs for sure.
Is that the goal for you? Or what's a successful season?
I mean, anything short of a wild card is not a successful season. Listen, I think the biggest headline, we can talk about Fields and Moore and Eberflus all we want. Their own personal Satan left the division and to go and join the Jets. Like, Rodgers is gone. That, you understand, that was never going to turn. If Rodgers played 15 more years until he was 53 years old, he still would have beaten them every year. It's just the only way it could stop. It's like for the Jets or the Bills, like Brady just had to finally leave so they could have a real life. The fact that Rodgers left, it's like it's a whole new world. Like it's wide open, and I've never felt like that way. If our biggest concerns are Jared Goff and Kirk Cousins, like that's pretty good, guys. In 2023 NFL, there's some tough divisions out there. So I think they're going to make the playoffs, and I'm going to predict it when we get closer to the season, like on TV, and I'm going to go in and say it. But the division, Minnesota's good. I still want to see somebody cover Jefferson in a Bears uniform. You know, I want to see somebody shut them down on defense. I want to see somebody strip sack Cousins. I like Yannick Ngakoue as much as the next guy. There's a lot of teams that have said, we're not going to keep Yannick and he can go on to the next team, or it feels that way.
Right. It's a good point.
Who can guard Jefferson? I don't even think that's a division question. I think that's the NFL, because that man is unstoppable.
Yeah,
probably what the best wide receiver I can remember since like maybe Moss. Like he is just dominant.
I think you just got to limit him. He's going to get his, but as long as he's not going 200 yards, you know, if he gets 90, that's a good day. 100 yards, it's a good day.
Well, yeah, I used to hang out with someone who people know on Twitter now, Rex Chapman, the old NBA player.
Oh yeah,
was huge on Twitter. Yeah. And you would back in the day, you'd be hanging out with Rex. And Rex used to not only play against the Jordan Bulls, he would guard Mike. Like, he would be like, go get him. He's yours, 23. And he would always say about Jordan, he'd be like, look, he's going to get 30. Like, that's not even in the conversation. Like, he may get 40. Your goal every night is this is not going to be the night he gets 50 on me. Their problem guarding Mike is they're saying, I'm going to hold him under 30. No, you're not. So it makes me think of the Jefferson thing. Like, if the Bears play the Vikings, I don't know what week they play them, and you were to tell me right now that Jefferson has 6 catches for 115 and a touchdown, I think I'm all right with that. Like, we can get out. We can get a win with that. Just don't do us for 195. You know?
Right. That's fair. That reminds me of like going way back, Adrian Peterson. If you look, I was actually watching his highlights came up, like, and I saw like 5 out of his top 10 runs were against the Bears. I think he has like 3 200-yard rushing games plus. And I was like, yeah, every time we would play him, I'm like, this is what we have to do. Don't let him get 300 yards. And maybe he'll have a game-changing fumble, which would happen every now and then.
When he goes into the Hall of Fame and they run all those clips, it's going to be a bad day for guys like Jerry Azuma and Mike Brown and even Urlacher. Like, Urlacher's chasing
Briggs,
a lot of them. Briggs, no, everybody was. I know the plays you're talking about. I've seen those. A lot of them are in Soldier Field too, which isn't a great look.
It was funny. There was 3 plays in a row where Charles Tillman has to run all the way from the other side and just like is diving at his ankles on the one. I'm just like, man,
it's tough.
That's a tough life. Tough life.
Is AP still playing, or is he done?
No, I think he's done.
Okay, he's done, right?
Okay. I think he's always kind of by the phone. Like, he's like a running back. You know, like in the Old West, they would have the gun for hire. Like, I think if you need, like, I can give you 9 carries and get you like 32 yards and on a touchdown. I think he's still by the phone. So he's not officially retired. I don't think he's filed paperwork. I think he likes playing. Like, guys, he was on the Titans, I think, the Lions, the Saints, the Cardinals. Like, he's been around. So I think he'll play if you need him.
I picked him up, I think it was last year, maybe 2 years ago. I picked him up. He was on the Lions, and he kind of saved me on my fantasy league a little bit, like for 2 weeks where I was kind of treading water. I was like, thank you, AP. I appreciate it.
He was with Washington too, I think. Like, he had some big games with Washington. That's a lot of teams. I think that's a first ballot guy. Like, he's going in immediately.
Oh, easy.
Oh, yeah.
He has to.
Yeah.
Oh, he's another question here. Kyle, and I like I said, we know you don't have too much time, so we won't keep you much longer. But we have Cole Kmet, your angry runs. I'm pretty sure, but does he have a scepter? I think he does.
I'm glad you asked. So started angry runs in, I think, 2017. Every single week, times 18 weeks or whatever it is. Trying to think of the Bears that have won the scepter for angriest run. Cole Kmet 100% has one and took a great picture with the scepter with a bicep flex. Also, gone but not forgotten, David Montgomery won one, I think 2 years ago. So he has one. But I got to tell you, it's a little short on the Bears list. Like, there's not a lot of players who have done it. The guy on the team who I'd want – well, actually, that's not true. Chase Claypool won an angry runs last year. He won it as a Steeler, and then we sent it to Chicago. He's got traded that week.
When he first got there.
Yeah, and they sent a video, and Eberflus gave him the scepter. It was really exciting. So 3 current Bears have won it. It would make me extremely happy if Justin Fields would win a scepter because he has the potential for it. I would love to send him one.
Yeah, he kind of had it. I think his first time like really showing contact was when he kind of bull rushed on that infamous Lions play where he's running left and right and then runs to the corner and then takes him out. But I'm also like, I've seen you've gotten injured like every year, so maybe not try to get a scepter. Like, let me show you where the out of bounds is.
Just surviving the 2021 season, I think he deserves some sort of like lifetime achievement award statue or scepter or everything. That was rough. That was really rough.
Oh, we got to get that. That's awesome.
Yeah, you got beat up. I don't know how you could do that.
And then as far as we'll move, this is kind of the Chicago Bears, and the stadium talk, Kyle. We'll kind of end with this. We have one last question, but there's news about moving to Arlington. What are your thoughts? Do you want them to stay in Chicago, or do you want them to do what's best for the city or the Bears in general and the fans? What is your stance on that?
I have a significantly younger brother who's more than a decade younger than me, who's Chicagoan, and that started coming up. And I'm a nostalgist and I'm old fashioned, and I got to see the '85 Bears in that stadium on AstroTurf when I was a little tiny kid, so I have a lot of connection to that location and next to the lake. So I said to my brother, I'm like, oh, they can't move from Soldier Field, right? That would be blasphemy. And he was like, the hell with that. They should get out of there. It's impossible to get to. It's a total pain in the ass. I don't like it at all. The Arlington location would be incredible. I was like, what am I hearing? You want to leave? He's like, absolutely. They should definitely leave. for the fans, for the attendance, for everything. So like he had a blistering take on that. And so I kind of defer to him. I haven't lived in Chicago in a long time. I've been to games there and stuff. And I like the scene and the spot, but I'm not someone who's going every single weekend, every single year, and maybe it is a pain in the ass. What do you guys think? You're boots on the ground.
No, it's ass. It's ass. It's garbage. I went to 3
That's so
games.
bad.
It's the wait to get in and to get out is just a headache. There's not that many seats. Let's be real. And just the estate, like if it wasn't on the lake downtown, no one would even question this move, right? The stadium looks like an old Coliseum, beautiful. And a spaceship just decided to crash land into it.
Yeah.
What is that? You have two different decades, millenniums mixed here. So I'm big on because I live in Atlanta and there's a battery out here. It's called the Battery for the Braves, and they built out like this whole complex. It's beautiful. You can go there. You don't even have to go to games. There's always something going on. Just great vibes. I think the Chicago fans deserve that. So if we could build something like that, plus the Chicago Bears would own it, right? That's kind of important. I think that'd be good because the more money they get, hopefully the better product they can put on the field. So I'm definitely
Dave, move the stadium or keep it. Weigh in.
Yeah. So honestly, I'm kind of like at a lukewarm take, but I think the best move for them is to kind of build something bigger. Kind of similar to like in Minnesota, they have an amazing state-of-the-art arena, Jerry's World, and the Bears deserve that. And so I'm like, can you get that done in Chicago? I don't think you can. And so also playing indoors seems a little bit more appealing. I know bear weather, and for me, I just don't. I love the nostalgic of it. Seeing the Bears play growing up in crazy temperatures, snow, everything like that. But I mean, if Justin Fields is going to be here for the next 10, 15 years, he's faster on turf. He said it himself. And if we can get that stadium here in the next 4 or 5 years, maybe, or whatever the lease is, I think it's the best move. But like I said, the lakefront and the history, I think it's going to be tough. And I think the city's working really hard to kind of get them to stay. So
one thing, as long as we don't have to go through a sequel to the strangest Bears season in modern history, which was when they had knocked down the stadium or renovating it and they played at the college stadium. I think it was 2000? It was
at Illinois, right? They played at Illinois.
And I remember like a lot of David Terrell, and it was like this team, we're playing on a bizarre college field that's down in Champaign, nowhere close to where we live. We can't run that back. So if that has to be part of the solution, I don't want it. That was the strangest season I've ever seen.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that was weird. And Dave, I have to double down on the cold because I was at the Bills game the last year where it was like -2 degrees and there was 4 people there and I was one of them, which is a mistake. Bro, you couldn't even I ordered like $40 of food because it's expensive. And I sat down, the whole thing's frozen. I'm like, what am I doing here? Right. So I am pro state.
But I can kind of play devil's advocate there. In 2018, I was at the Rams game. And it was home. It was one of the most electric. Now, the offense was terrible, but Jared Goff was even worse. But the defense and the energy, it was so cold, but it was, I didn't even feel it as far as just how cold it was because of the energy. Everyone was hyped up. And obviously the win makes it 1,000 times better. Because if we end up losing that game, that's probably not the best memory. But that it kind of is. The memories are just kind of what I would miss as far as just if we.
I remember Hakeem Nicks beating the crap out of Goff in that game. That was a great game.
Gosh,
he went
crazy. That was amazing.
Wasn't that like the game where he threw like 7 total picks, both teams, like just garbage offense performance?
Yeah, terrible.
Oh, that was
somehow we got it done. Oh my gosh,
classic Bears win right there.
That defense, man, carried that team.
Really
but
did.
Kyle, are you going to be there week 1 against Green Bay? You think?
I don't know. It's I would love to just say, yeah, I'm there. We have such strange things that we do with our scheduling working for the NFL. Like sometimes they'll send us to a game like the Thursday night opener, the Lions-Chiefs thing, or sometimes you'll be working another game. I hope to. Like I've said it many times, it's the biggest game in 3 years. Like it is an incredibly important game. And I don't care that they would just be 0-1 if they lost. I think it's way more than that. And it represents something symbolic to the fan base and the organization that, like you cannot let Jordan Love come in and start this season winning in Soldier Field. Like it would be really, really a kick in the balls. So I think it's a massive game. I don't care what the standings say. It's more than that.
I'm glad you said that. I feel like that's the stance that everyone needs to have because it's only week 1. You kind of got to get used to it. The team, the offense, DJ Moore's first game. No, you have to kind of set a statement. It's a new era. You have to start it off right.
It's basically our Super Bowl. It's our Super Bowl. We're not going this year, so that's kind of.
Listen, you said it, man. I'm telling you, do not lose that game. I don't care if it's 10-6 loss or 31-10. You have to win that game. And it's like, all right, then all the pressure's off. We beat the Packers. We're not going to lose it. It's just, thank God, yeah. Please.
And I need to see your reaction on Monday too, as far as just if we win, your energy levels on Good Morning Football is going to be crazy.
Well, I'll be very excited if we win, but it'll be a huge buzzkill if the Bears win and Justin Fields doesn't have a lot of air yards. So we have to wait and see how the air yards go. That's what's important here, guys.
Yeah, facts.
All right, Kyle. So one last thing here. Real quick. The Madden viral tweet with your son. Why did you do it? Give me the reason. Was it fun? Are you going to be playing Madden 24?
Why did I do it? Because I could. Because he didn't stop me. Here's the story.
He did not score.
I got a 9-year-old son. He loves football. He plays flag. We get Madden. He wants to play me. Of course we'll play you. And I chose to be the Eagles, and he chose the Dolphins. And he's popping off, blah, blah, blah. And he sets it on rookie mode so that this AI is non-existent. And I just start going, bang, bang, touchdown, pick six, touchdown, pick six. And I'm trying to coach him, like, don't do that. Don't engage 8 on me. If you can do that, engage 8. I'm going right over the top every time. And he kept doing it. So it was like, initially he was mad. And then once I got up like 50-0, he thought it was funny. So he's doing dumb fake punts on first down and stuff. But then when I got to like 80-0, I told him, I'm like, I'm going to score 100 points on you. And he got mad again. And I got there. I got it a perfect 2-point conversion to go from 98 to 100. And then I took a picture, and I told him to get in the picture when I took a picture of the score, and he wouldn't do it. He left the room. So a perfect 100-0 may never be repeated. But, I mean, it was, look, sometimes you got to learn things aren't easy in life, son.
I love it, man. We end the show typically with same question for Bears fans.
Okay.
Who is your all-time favorite Chicago Bear and why?
Devin Hester. I love Walter. I love Walter. I kind of got the end of Walter when I was a little kid, so I didn't see the prime of it. No athlete outside of maybe Mike Tyson has provided me more adrenaline and excitement on any sort of playing field. And I'm talking, that includes Michael Jordan. That includes everybody that I've seen in Chicago and across all the NFL, Barry Sanders, Deion Sanders, Devin Hester. Obviously, the Super Bowl return was, I was screaming. I was running. I ran out of the room into my front yard in the cold, and I was screaming, and the neighbors. I was losing my mind, but it's so much more than that. I got to go to Devin Hester's first game, which was at Lambeau, and it was Bears-Packers, and he returned a punt for a touchdown. It was a great game. The Bears won. Grossman hit Bernard Berrien for a long touchdown, but the second he had his punt return in his first game, I go, this guy's special, and got to meet him a couple times, just very nice, very kind. And I just remember like that 01 team, or excuse me, the 2006 team, it was so exciting to watch Hester that the defense was so great that when it was third down for the offense they were playing against, it was like, all right, one more play, then we get Hester, one more play. And sure enough, they bat down a pass or stop a run. And 23 would just try it out. And he was doing the Superman and
crank that Soldier Boy.
Boy, he's doing that. Yeah. And this seems ridiculous now, but I promise it was cool at the time. Yeah. And sure enough, you just turn your head and he was gone. So I love a lot of Bears, but Devin Hester, my favorite. No athletes ever give me more excitement than him.
Dude, our last guest said the same one. We're back-to-back Devin Hester answers, so I love it. That's mine too. Kyle,
is it
absolutely.
That's cool.
Oh my god, no, it's just so electric. You get 6 seconds of just chaos. You know what I mean? The times he would bobble it or run backwards 5 yards, go left, right, and then boom, find that hole, and it's just gone. It's just so fun to watch.
Growing up, at least kind of my generation, that 06 team, that Super Bowl run was when I started to kind of watch football. And I was like, this is awesome. This is what being a Bears fan is like. This is amazing. And since then, it's kind of been a little more rough, Cuddy era, Trubisky.
A little.
But
okay. Remember the name Mark Trestman? Did that really happen? He was the head coach of the Chicago Bears? That's so strange.
The stories that come out afterwards of the locker room and what went down in there, I'm like, it only makes sense what they put out in the field. Chaos.
Absolutely.
Crazy. And we could have hired wait a second, last one, Dave. Who was we could have got
Buccaneers.
No. Yeah, Buccaneers coach. I can't think of his name. One with Brady.
Oh, you're talking about Bruce Arians?
Yeah, we turned out Arians for Tressman. Yeah, that's good.
That would have worked, man.
Right.
But I like the Flus.
Awesome.
Yeah, we do
well,
too.
hey, Kyle, before I let you go, my uncle, he's a huge fan of you. He loves the show. He thinks you're like a perfect representation of like just being a Chicago Bears fan and everything. So he wants to say hello, shout you out, keep doing what you're doing. But
What's
again, thank you so much. My uncle, Dave Samwelski.
All right, and does he live in the Chicagoland area?
He is. He used to. He lives kind of near Texas now, but he grew up Illinois and everything like that. He went to Tinley Park.
Oh, okay. So you got an uncle named Dave too?
Yeah. Pretty cool name. I guess.
All right,
there's so many.
Uncle Dave, love you. Thank you for watching. Hope the Bears can win a bunch of games this year. I think they're going to the playoffs, Uncle Dave.
Oh, I appreciate that, man. Well, Kyle, man, are you before you go, you want to plug anything? Your podcast, is it still going? Kyle Brandt's Basement?
I don't need to plug. It's not my style.
Okay.
I appreciate you offering it. I came on because I like you guys, and I think you're authentic, and you're super excited about a very exciting team. I've followed you for a long time, so I'm not even a plug type of guy. It's my pleasure to come on here. I'm very flattered to be asked, and I really like what you guys do.
Well, we'll plug.
I appreciate Kyle.
We appreciate you. Thanks, Kyle.
Thanks, guys.
Kyle.
Keep enjoying that natural life. All right. Thanks.
You got it. I will.
Bye.
All right. Kyle Brandt, everyone. Ficky, man, pretty fun.
Fucking great. I mean, I think why I like Kyle, and I think why a lot of people like Kyle is he's just authentic, right? It doesn't mean he's going to be right all the time. Just like, I feel like that's how we are. We come in here and we're just fans talking about things we love to talk about. And the way he delivers his like speeches, his rants and things like that, you really do feel that authenticity. You don't feel like, that fakeness corporate suit type stuff. And I think people nowadays are getting more drawn to that. And I think it's just great to see like a personality like Kyle, because people like Kyle is the reason why like we see things like Pat McAfee. You know what I mean? Like we're seeing more of that turn in the type of media that's out there, even with podcasts like us. So I think it's great. Kyle's always been fantastic. I can't wait to see more of his segments on Good Morning Football this year. So it should be fire.
Yeah, no, authentic is the perfect word to describe him. Now you guys he does have his podcast, Kyle Brandt's podcast, Kyle Brandt's Basement. And it's I love watching it. And then of course you can find him on Good Morning Football. I think everyone knows who Kyle is. So, Ficky, man, I think we're going to kind of go over to just the Colts Bears. We have a bunch of news. Justin Fields, obviously, at the topic of discussion, he dominated for the most part. He had kind of up and down 7-on-7s. He was perfect today. And then 11-on-11s were a little bit more bumpy. What are your thoughts from what you're hearing and seeing?
Yeah, I think he did well, I guess. You know what I mean? It's not like, let's put it this way. We have not, the aura around training camp Fields has been bad, right? As a whole. So I'm going to be happy with that, because previous regimes, previous quarterbacks, it's always like, the offense doesn't look like they have it together. The defense wins every day. You know what I mean? And for this, at least we're saying, hey, look, he looks good here. Maybe there's some stuff he could work on here. Wasn't perfect. That's fine. You know what I mean? That's like realistic. Even Patrick Mahomes has like bad days or bad, drills. So I think overall though, like he's been on, the trend is going up and the reports have been good as from a high level. So I'm not too concerned. What about you? What's your thoughts on that? Oh, you're muted, Dave.
Oh, it's definitely interesting. Yeah, it's definitely interesting. I'm going to go ahead and pull up just some of the news, some of the clips here in regards to kind of what happened today. But before I get into it, my personal opinion is it's kind of almost, what's the word? It's almost exhausting just because we are going to analyze every single like practice, and it's like something I don't think needs to happen because every player is not going to win every rep. Justin Fields is not perfect. No. And this is what practice is for. So the fact that he's just pushing the ball down the field, that he is being successful, he's taking these chances and he's going perfect. Like he went 9 for 9, 8 for 8. I think there's like a debate as far as what he,
doesn't matter. Good.
When's the last time we had a quarterback? When's the last time we had a quarterback that just has these bursts of like, just where he displays his talent, where he's just like, hey, I'm the best player.
That's my point.
So I agree with everything you said. I think it's refreshing, but as far as just like, I think actually training camp's officially over. Now it's just like media practices, which is that means football's here. So that's exciting within
thank
itself.
Thank God. So close. So close.
Exactly, man. It's just, it's here. And so I'm not going to kind of overreact. I want to see him obviously do it in a game. You know, if he was playing on Saturday against the Colts, I think that would be a huge test. I think this is, you know, a great stepping stone, but week 1 is where he has to prove it. Kyle said it best. They have to win this game, and Justin Fields has to be the reason why, in my opinion. He can't have like a mediocre where it's like, hey, Mitch Trubisky didn't play that well, but the defense, you know, Kyle Gordon, blah, 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 came away and performed well. We've seen that story before. I don't want to see it anymore. I want the defense to perform. I want them to make plays, but I want my quarterback to be able to be the reason why we're winning week 1. So I love what I'm seeing.
Kyle said, right? That's what Kyle said, right? That's for once he wants to say that, like, oh, wow, the quarterback won that game for us. Like, think about that. Maybe back to Cutler. Cutler did that in a couple games. It was like, we won because of Cutler. But, like, we have not seen that type of quarterback where it's like, oh, game in and game out, week after week after week, we have trust that our quarterback isn't just a manager. He can actually win the game. Compared to, we've had it where it's like, yeah, our quarterback's probably going to lose the game. So it'll be a nice switch up. Hopefully we see more of it.
Absolutely. So I'm going to go ahead and go through here. Well, before we go into the training camp, this is the tweet. This is what I was talking about with Kyle Brandt here. He beat his son pretty bad. I was going to bring it up while we were talking with him, but 100-0.
Bro. We call that a spanking, bro. You got stomped. Good for him teaching his son a lesson, though.
He's got a couple more years. He's got maybe a year or 2 left before his son kind of, you know, gets better on the stick.
Oh, so, yeah. Once it clicks, Kyle's done. And he better drop 120 on Kyle, too.
In the chat, I'm not sure if anyone's playing Madden 24. Me and Ficky both play. I'm on Xbox. I'll be getting a PlayStation once Spider-Man comes out, of course. But go ahead and, you know, reach out to us on social media. We would love to kind of play. We'll probably go, I don't know, I haven't talked to you, Ficky, but maybe go live here with some Madden 24 content.
Absolutely. Maybe
before the season. So, but moving forward here, I want to start with, I guess, Kyler Gordon. An amazing interception in one-on-ones against Josh Downs. I'm just going to go ahead and play it, and then we can kind of talk about it. This is from CHGO Bears. You've heard of them, I'm sure, if you're here. They're amazing. This right here. Go ahead and mute it. Ooh, almost looks like he's getting beat, and he comes up with the
pulls it. Ooh.
And it's not showing here. It's not showing here, but he did the Spider-Man celebration as well.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah,
I love it. It looks like he's like right at the very end.
Yeah, I think Greg Braggs had it, but you just love the. First of all, I think. Yeah, I think he's going to have such a big season. Like, I was very nervous. I'm not going to lie to you. I was very nervous last year, the rocky start. And maybe because of how well Brisker was playing, I was like, but the safety position is a little bit more. It's different than playing corner.
Well, think about it. He was playing. Brisker played one spot. They had Kyler going back and forth for a minute, and they're finally like, "Yo, like honestly, too much information that we got to just put him in the nickel." And then when they focused him on nickel, we started to see his progressions, and now I feel like he feels very confident in that because he's always been athletic. Like, the man's been athletic. He made plays last year based off his athleticism late in the season. So I think it's more just him being like, okay, I know where I'm playing. I know this is my position. And now I can just focus on what I got to do. So instead of having to worry about, am I going to be outside, inside?
No, you nailed that perfectly. And this is the celebration right there. A little bit different than that one that I posted a couple weeks ago, but you see it here, little Spidey.
Yeah, no, that's fire. No, the Spider-Man thing that he's taking on is fire. I love it.
So
I didn't think that was going to happen because I don't think really anyone on our team has like Bo Jack's, but no, Moon. They call Mooney Moon, but no one's really like played like a type of character type of nickname. So this Spider-Man thing is dope. I'm excited for it.
Hey, we have a Jeff Dickerson shout out. Absolutely, I miss him.
Yeah,
too
I love
the beat.
Dickerson.
Man, JD. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah,
we always want to show love to him and his family. And then Tony, you're getting Madden tomorrow. I love that.
Oh, yeah.
Ficky, do you have it yet? I thought you did, right?
Yeah, I've had it. I got the pre-order. But I got it.
Again, is it completely different? I don't know, but
it's kind of different. Like how you have to play and whatnot. If you just look at the game, you'd be like, oh, it's kind of the same. But like the play style is different. So,
and I'll be honest, I was playing with Justin Fields. I mean, we're getting off topic. I know we're supposed to be talking about training camp. One last Madden. I was playing with Justin, and his legs are great, but throwing the ball is tough.
Well, yeah, he's a 78, bro. Yeah,
They got to get that up. And they better get that up.
That's why you wait. That's why they upgrade through the season. That man balls out week 1, they'll start to change his stuff. So I'm not too concerned. But yeah, you're playing with a noodle arm with Fields in there right now.
Yeah, and this was actually my first play Madden 24. I don't know if it's a good omen for the season. Little Eddie Jackson
should be. That's my boy Bojack
online. Yeah, got a little lucky here. I thought I was gonna get hit.
No, that was a nice cut inside. Then stiff arm. See ya.
Yeah.
What's that? What's we call that?
Man,
it's called
I want Bojack to have such a big season. 2018 Bojack. He said himself he's going to have the best season from a safety ever. So I mean that's a huge statement. I do too, man. I love his confidence.
I love Bojack. I've always loved Bojack, even the times he was down. He's always been great energy for the team, a great leader. You know, that's my guy.
Yeah. You nailed it, man. So back, we're getting off the tangent. Madden 24. Let us know if you get it. DMS, we'll love to play. Now let's get to training camp. So again, we'll go over here. This is from yesterday, but I wanted to kind of show it. The media has to delete these videos once they're or after 24 hours. It's some Bears rule as far as just the media, which I think is really outdated. I don't they're outdated with that. I don't know. These are the Bears. Bears are so traditional. What competitive advantage are you getting here?
But the beat writers talk about that too. They don't really agree with it. But you know,
this is from Chicago Connection on Twitter. He actually put together and watermarked each video that was from what reporter. And so thankfully we have this to show. And this is from yesterday where Justin Fields was just absolutely lighting it up. It is one-on-one, so take it for what it is. But I mean, this ball placement, and even the receivers are making plays. This is Mooney.
Ooh,
that's a touchdown.
Those tackles scare me though, right at the ankles. But that's a great play. Great play.
Yep. Webster, right?
Yep.
Another one. Dot.
Great one.
This is my favorite one right here. The Bears put this on their social media.
One-hander. See ya. Stick. Nice.
And number 23 got away with a little hole here, and it is just. Anyways,
I don't blame him.
Better
one-on-ones. That is so offensively favored. Like, how do you guard these guys one-on-one? That's crazy.
Yeah. And then this is I love this clip from this morning. This was Justin Fields and Anthony Richardson, talking it up, showing respect. I love Anthony Richardson. I think he's going to have
sorry. He's going to have a big year.
Oh, you're good.
I think,
me too.
I think Fields is like, I thought Richardson would be much bigger. He's probably got like an inch or two on him, but they kind of look like the same size.
I know. Well, and the thing with Richardson, I think he's an inch taller, but he's about 20 pounds bigger.
Yeah, he is a little beefier. He is a little beefier. I think he's a tad bit faster. But Fields has a better arm coming out. Like what Fields did in college is nothing compared to what Anthony Richardson did at Florida.
Yeah, and this is from Tony. He said, "Does Scott's look better?" Is he talking about?
Yeah,
Scott's hands.
Hands look better. I don't know. He didn't even practice today.
He was on the bike today. Yeah, he was on the bike today. He didn't practice. Neither did Velus, which is funny because it's like those two are kind of in a battle per se. Maybe they both make the team, and that is probably the case.
I think they do.
But
I think they do.
Yeah, they're too talented. There's too much upside. And Velus, you did spend a third-round pick on him, so the leash is maybe a little bit.
They're going to be 4.
He's got to stop. He's got to stop muffing the punts, though.
Facts. We're going to bring on 6 wide receivers, so I think 4. There'll be 4 or 5. Who's 6? It's probably going to be St. Brown is my guess. EQ. If they bring 7, Dante makes the team. But I think that's your top 7 right there. So I feel pretty confident that they'll be on the squad. Yeah.
And so as far as Scott, he didn't look worse, didn't look better. He didn't practice today. And we'll kind of go over that right now as far as who practiced, who didn't. But again, Anthony Richardson and Justin Fields, showing each other respect. Love that. Let me get
while you're looking for the next one, this one from Eric. Updates on Whitehair. I heard he got hurt. That's all the updates we have. I think it was a hand issue. I don't know how serious it was, but he just left practice.
He did return. He just did not participate. So helmet, everything was there. I think it's like because similar to what Nate Davis was in pads today. However, I think he ended his practice a little early because they're ramping him up. They're kind of being, cautious with that. And I think that's a good move. But with Whitehair, he did return. They just did not let him go back out. So
gotcha.
That's again, we need him.
Sit him.
Absolutely. We
Sit
need
them all.
We need Lucas Patrick to stay healthy. We need this offensive line to just have that continuity
yeah.
and just to stay healthy.
We can't
like
have
said.
Fields. We can't have Fields running around like a maniac again. We can't do that. This
Yeah.
line has to be solidified.
So we have, not sure if you guys can see this here, but we have, as far as who did not participate, this is from Josh. I'm going to butcher that. Schrock, NBC Chicago.
Josh Schrock. It's Josh Schrock.
Yeah. Fantastic reporter. He said Eddie Jackson, Brisker, Claypool, Tyler Scott, Edmonds, Jones, Lucas Patrick, Treston Ebner, Josh Blackwell, and DeMarcus Gates. Am I saying that right?
I think it's DeMarcus Gates. I don't know.
I think so.
Probably not making the team, so
yeah.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, maybe practice squad. But
yeah,
so a lot of names out, but I think a lot of that is just precautionary. We're still 3 weeks out as far as when the Bears are going to be in week 1.
September, about 3 weeks. Yeah.
A little
we got
over.
some time.
We got time. They're going to be fine. We're going to be healthy. It's good vibes moving forward. As far as other things, Ficky, is there anything else? You have some notes here as far as kind of what you wanted to talk about. Anything catch your eye?
Defense look good. Like today's reports are showing that the defense gave Anthony Richardson's problems. Why can't I say it? Anthony Richardson problems? There we go. Jeez. But yeah, like they had a strip. I think they had a strip sack on him, made him fumble, and they returned that to the house. He had like 1 incompletion out of 7, I think, on either 11-11s or 7-on-7s. It just was not a good day. We were giving him a lot of pressure, giving him looks he hadn't seen before. So that's good to see because the defense, people are so worried about the offense, right? And the offense, there's a lot more hype with it and whatnot. But if this defense is trash, that's almost as big as a concern as well. We need to be able to get the ball back in Fields' hands. And if the defense, is garbage and we have a defensive head coach, what is that saying about that, about Flus as well? And we both like Flus, but and we've upgraded players on the defense. So we need to see, I'm not saying top 5, top 10, top 15, I'm not saying that. We just need to see a solid group performing well. And it's actually good that we're seeing that, maybe not the best competition, but against the Colts in joint practice and not just against the Bears first team, you know what I mean? Or the Bears second team offense.
So another thing I want to bring up is the chippiness. There's 3 fights today. We'll show some of the I think there's some video of kind of what transpired, but Gervon Dexter, he threw 2 haymakers. This is from Dan Weeder, and he said 2 haymakers. So I don't know if that's maybe exaggerating or if that's legit, but what are your thoughts on so Tyreek Stevenson, what I like about him is he talks, he backs it up. He's a feisty player. He plays with confidence, but he kind of walks that line, as far as he doesn't go over. And that's what I think the coaching staff loves about him. And they rave about that. So, but with Dexter here, which he's kind of been quiet for the most part, but why, what do you think about this energy? Does he have to bring it down a little bit?
This is joint practices. They'll talk. First of all, they'll talk to him. They'll discuss disciplinary actions, whatever it is. Flus is going to get on it so this doesn't happen again. But this happens every joint practice across the NFL. You'll see it. There's fights. And you know where the fights most likely happen? Where there's 2 people that face each other for multiple plays, and all they do is bash helmets against each other. You know what I mean? They call it the trenches for a reason. These guys are biting at the bit and smacking each other around. So am I surprised that these offensive linemen are fighting each other? No, because it happens every year. It'll happen again next year. It's the nature of the beast. People are going to get chippy. People are going to get feisty. The issue is if it's a repeatable action. If now we see Gervon Dexter doing it again, or doing something that's a little bit higher, like taking off his helmet and swinging it, right? Then we have issues. Or doing a whims and punching someone in a game, right? Then we have issues. But at a joint practice, your first, I guess your first time getting caught in a fight, it's whatever. Send them to the principal office and then send them back to school. You know what I mean? It's it's a little slap on the wrist. I like it. And then let's get back to action.
I think that is the perfect take. I'm not even going to even give mine because you said it better than what I could have. That's exactly what needs to happen. I like it. I agree with you. Now I want to move. This is from that guy 44 shows DJ Moore touchdown on Kenny today on Bragg's page. Now I have not seen this. I don't know if you have, Ficky.
I have.
I kind of missed. You have? Okay.
Yeah.
This is the first time I'm seeing it. Kind of pull it up here. Let's see here. This is on Kenny Moore.
Yep. See ya. Nice.
I'm going to watch that again.
A little toe tap.
Watch it again here.
Yep. Yeah, you don't see the very beginning, but he beat him on a deep route and gets that toe tap in the end zone.
Hey, first of all, DJ Moore is in, prime form right now, but shout out to Greg Braggs Jr. too with that steady camera hold. Like, he's back. That's a great. He's just this man.
I couldn't do that.
Oh,
I couldn't do that.
He's a little behind right there, but
but it's like, how do you even? It's so hard to catch it because I've been at games live trying to catch plays, and like the only way you can do it is if, like, let's say you think there's going to be a big play. I've caught a couple of them. I got lucky. Like, maybe it's like third down in the red zone, and I'm like, okay, maybe we'll get a touchdown here. You like have to hold your phone out for like 4 minutes and record a video. You know what I mean? Because you don't know when the play's happening, so you're just like, okay. So like, I'm not surprised because there's no way, like Braggs being there, he could be doing that and tweeting and whatnot. So they probably do miss a lot of plays, which again, it's a joint practice. It's not like we're not missing like crazy highlights. Let's be real. But speaking of crazy highlights, we don't have a video of it, but Cole Kmet, I guess, had a crazy one-handed catch.
Where is that one? That's what I want to see.
I couldn't find it. I looked around, but
I bet the Bears social team has that one in their back pocket. That should come out hopefully soon. So before I get to this video from Braggs as well, this is one of my favorites. I did see this one, but we have a couple questions in the chat we kind of want to get to.
Yep.
So Dexter didn't seem slow off the ball to me against the Titans. I agree with that. I thought he looked pretty good. I'm not a defensive line like guru, but
no, he's not. Yeah. Rookie too. Let's take everything with a grain of salt. Like, we know that's something he needs to work on it. So let's kind of wait till week 8. Let's kind of like see if, we're noticing or things getting better. Cause think about Kyler Gordon, right? We just talked about him. Like, he may not looked good in the beginning, but we see where he is now, right? These are rookies. So I'm not like too concerned just yet. Will Lucas Patrick get cut by Tony Moy? I don't think so. We want as much offensive line depth as possible. Yeah, that's not happening.
And the Bears like him. He's a good character guy. I don't know if you guys, I'm not sure if you watched 1920 Drive. We talked about it briefly with Kyle Brandt, but me and Ficky have both watched it. We highly suggest it. Great content. The Bears social team, honestly, they've upped their game the last few years. This is like, I'm not saying I think since Oscar worthy, but it's damn near. But
it's basically it's our version of Hard Knocks, basically, for people that don't know.
And that's why I'm like, as far as I wish the Bears were on Hard Knocks. I know a lot of people may disagree. So, I mean, did you guys want the Bears on Hard Knocks? Let us know. Vicky, what did you think again?
I mean,
you're like,
it's not Hard Knocks is not what it used to be.
I'm selfish.
Yeah, I know, right? Hard Knocks is not what it used to be, not because of like the quality of it, but the fact that a lot of these teams now, like 1920 Drive, are putting out their own versions. So would we get more with Hard Knocks? Absolutely. So from a selfish standpoint, content, yes. But do I feel like it might take away from like Fields being focused and other players? We are a young team, possibly. So I could understand why the Bears wanted to turn it down, and I'm not upset with that because if the product we put on the field is better because of it, who gives a shit? Like, who cares? If we play better because there's no cameras in our face like that, then I'll be fine with that. Now, if we get to a point like the Jets where like maybe we're a little bit more, we're more in that championship window and we, Fields has a lot more experience, then I'm like, all right, go ahead. Like, he shouldn't be worried about cameras. Like, he's been in this offense for 6-7 years. Then I'd be chill with it. But, this is a big year for Fields, and I wouldn't want to put extra pressure on him.
No, I agree with that. As far as extra pressure, he did say that he turned down the Netflix documentary. It's like Quarterback. But apparently there was also rumors that like, no one's going to know who really it is. So it's like, are they telling them to say that?
I think so.
I like that. I like that.
In the beginning, yeah. In the beginning, I thought no, because like it was just like a couple, but now it's like literally every single person said no, and it's like
now it's a little suspicious. And
okay,
he has that history, high school documentary, which I loved.
Quarterback one.
Excuse me. When he was drafted, I mean, I think everyone in Chicago probably ended up watching that. I bet those numbers boosted, but I loved it. And he's kind of a natural. And maybe not this year. Obviously, we wouldn't, or maybe not next year, but maybe the following when, he's a little bit more solidified after he wins MVP, everything like that. I'm just kidding. But seriously, I think I would love to see him on it. Maybe not next year, but if they keep doing it and it's successful, which I think it is, the numbers are kind of high. I think they should do it. But
here's next question though, if you don't mind.
yeah,
Laz says biggest question. Oh, that's a great cute little doggo. I love a good doggo pick. Okay, biggest question mark is still a center. Don't be surprised if we sign someone that's released from another team. Absolutely, we will. We have the waiver wire first position, which till week 3 of the NFL, which means that any cuts, which are going to happen, right? We go from 93 to 50 in 2 weeks, which means that 43 players from every team, you do the math, that's like over 1,000 players, we will have first stab at. And what it means with that, it's not that we only get to pick one person and then the second team in line gets to pick theirs. No, we can look at that pool of 1,000 plus players and say, we want to grab 8 guys, 12 guys, 500, right? And we get that opportunity all the way till week 3. So do not be surprised if we pick up a bunch of people here coming up shortly. So yeah, great stuff there. Let's see. I'm just reading through a couple more comments. Tony said, hopefully we see 52 Lewis continue to get pressure, more playing time. Yep, I agree, right? So we talked about Fields is not playing in the preseason, but there's still players to watch. Watching Lewis is definitely going to be something I'm going to do. Terrell Lewis, Travis Gibson, Roshan Johnson, definitely want to see more of him. Tyler Scott, if he's not injured, love to see more of him. Tyreek Stevenson, things like that. So and then Tony again with another one. Next year on Hard Knocks when they're actual contenders, that'd be good, but I don't think next year will qualify. Because if we make the playoffs, we don't qualify, I'm pretty sure, for Hard Knocks. Yeah, so we'd have to be like on the cusp. We'd have to like miss it just barely, because it means we could be contenders the next year, and then we'd get it. That's like the perfect ideal situation for that, but let's make the fucking playoffs. Laz, yeah. Oh, sorry, go ahead. I'm just scrolling through these. What'd you have to say? My bad.
Oh, no, I was just Hard Knocks again. I like I said, I like it, but if I would rather take the playoffs as well, 100%.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, duh, we want playoffs. Go ahead, you can read this one.
No, Yurko says Dexter is slow off the snap and stands straight up. Again, I've seen there's so many mixed. We need to see more. I think that more snaps, more live action. And I'm not going to sit here and say that I study defensive line tape. I obviously when he was drafted, first thing you notice, it was slow. But then we found out scheme. His coaches were kind of coaching him differently than he's getting coached right now. Is he the fastest? No, but I think there's a happy medium where you see his college tape, you see some of the snaps now at camp, even against the Titans, where it's that's a little faster, and he's going to get better. He's a rookie, like you said. So I think we'll give him a little bit more time.
Yeah, banking on potential. These rookies for a position like that, like defensive line, there's going to be struggles as a rookie. So I'm not like too worried about it. It's not like a running back or wide receiver. Even wide receiver, it's a little bit of a learning curve.
Oh yeah,
but like running back rookies come in and they can dominate, right? So it's just not the same. I kind of look at him and go, let's give him a year or two and let's see what happens, right? So we'll have to take that kind of week by week. That'll be kind of our watches. And then Tony also said, I'd prefer we find a better left tackle too. I agree. We should get depth all the way across the board on the offense and defensive line, because that's where a lot of your injuries happen. So that guy 44 said, what games are you going to? I will be going. I can't announce all of them, but I'll be at Packers week 1. Let me just say that I will be there for that. And there's more to come.
Yeah.
Eric said, what
for me? Oh no!
Go ahead. My bad.
For me, it's
just rolled through.
I don't know. So for me, it really depends on how the season's going. Like there could be a game where it's like, oh, it's a big game. Say we're in a playoff hunt. I think I'll be there. I want to see that atmosphere. As far as week 1, I think that's probably the only one I'm 100% probably going to go. Ficky, I think you have quite a few that you've already bought tickets for, but we'll keep that on the back.
We'll keep
I got some, but
I got some on the list for sure.
If the Bears are good, even if they're not, but if Justin Fields is electric, there should be quite a few games where we'll be at.
And we'll let you guys know for sure.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Eric said, wonder if Browns try to stash Weipler on practice squad. The Bears pounce. Weipler, who's Weipler? I have to give more information because I don't know who that is. Sorry. And then that guy's extra was a problem. I mean, that's like a lot of these rookies are like Poles. You can see Poles' approach to drafting is he gets a lot of physical attributes, right, that are nice. And then he's like, hey, I can get coaches that can get the fundamentals right. So it's not that they're just pure potential, but you can see that he believes in, if I coach these guys right, they have a skill set that can't be taught, which is size, speed, things like that. If we can coach them on the soft skills that can be coached up and improved, we got some diamonds in the rough. So sorry, Dave.
So Luke Weipler is, I thought he looked familiar. If you'd done PFF mock drafts or if you were in the draft season, he was the center at Ohio State that a lot of Bears fans kind of wanted them to take a shot on. So interesting. I haven't really followed him. I know he is. He's on the Browns. I would love. I was a little shocked that we didn't get a little bit more depth at center.
Yeah,
but
I think people thought we were going to go center that Iowa center. I think is what a lot of people, like a lot of mock drafts had that. So,
yeah.
But it's okay. So, like we're going to remember, you can't fix all problems in a year. So don't be surprised if we get 2 offensive linemen next year. And the good thing though, I will say this, Poles at least is showing, because he's a past offensive lineman. He's at least being like, no, we're getting offensive linemen. Pace did not draft an offensive lineman in the first round in his 6-year regime. And he only drafted linemen round 6 or 7. Nah, we're having a different approach with this. You can already see Poles is like, we're building through the trenches. So if we have problems this year, don't think that we're not going to address them in free agency, which we have good cap, and also the next following draft. So
absolutely. Also, that guy 44 said Dexter was always a project, and then followed it up with Saturday is a big game for Bayless. 100%. Again, him and Scott weren't practicing, so we'll see. I would be shocked. I think he needs to play. I think he needs to get those reps.
Yeah, but you saw, I agree, but how Poles on the Hogan Johns podcast where they do their annual
great pod by
Poles interview. Yep, absolutely. Poles mentioned like he's done it. He almost insinuated that there is enough on offense from Bayless that we're not worried about. Like, he's not getting cut. He's going to make the team. Is basically my point. Does he need to get more reps in? Obviously. But if he's injured, I'm also like, bro, we're going to need him for week 1 too. So sit out the game. Sit out, because you're making the team. This preseason is really about the guys who are fighting for those last positions, those last roster spots, really like battling out and showing, who deserves to be on this roster. So I think that's what we have to look out for.
No, I agree. Now, let's go ahead and get to this play. I've had this on here for
I totally forgot about it. My bad.
Again, we've just started going live, so we are trying our best to kind of manage the chat and be more interactive. So bear with us, no pun intended. But this is from Greg. This is Greg Braggs Jr. It is a play to St. Brown, I believe. And let's just watch. Wait, was this the one?
No, but that's a nice one. That's a little double cut tutty.
Yeah. I still like that. He looks fast. Maybe it's the DB. But
I think it's one-on-ones, bro. It's
it just looks a little different.
It's because getting burnt in a one-on-one looks so much different than getting like burnt in the with a safety showing coverage or a middle linebacker that helps shade. Oh, we got a super chat. Let me share this real quick. Thank you, Tito. Oh, I need to get your name. Pizar. Let me know if I pronounced that wrong. I'll make sure to get it right. If you let me know how to pronounce it in the chat. We got a QB2 battle going on. Who wins it, Walker or Bagent? You know what? Well, you forgot about another quarterback, right? Because I think Bagent is QB4. We still have Nathan Peterman. So what I think is going to happen, I think PJ Walker's still QB2, and I think Bagent is going to beat out Nathan Peterman for that third QB spot, which is technically not a roster spot, but is a roster spot due to the new NFL rule. And thank you, Tito, for that $5 super chat. Really appreciate
Absolutely.
that.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, that guy said he ran a skinny post there. That's absolutely right. Oh, what's up, Nanners? CPTN Nanners. Was at practice today. Big Bears fan here, but super honestly, Fields looked good when it was wide receiver versus DB only. Once the D-line and O-line were there, it was rough. Yeah, I heard there was a rough outing from the offensive line in general. So
yeah, how did the offensive line look? If you don't mind me, I've heard so many mixed reviews from today. Like you said, he was great 7-on-7s, and then 11-on-11 when it really counts, he didn't really perform. But there was also some pressure, a tip pass. So again, I appreciate the feedback, especially if you were boots on the ground over there. But how did the O-line look? Are you concerned at all? Like as far as today's practice and overall, a lot of pressure.
Looks like that's what I heard. They give up a lot of pressure. Yep.
This is the one I was talking about.
Oh, yeah. Let's see.
This is the one. So this is the one from today. This is from Carmen over here. Let's see. Right there.
Double. Nice.
That's the one I'm talking about. What about the ball placement, too?
Beautiful back corner. Only where he could get it. You love to see that. Beautiful.
And that ball coming in. DB has no chance here.
That's why that's a great move, a great ball, but that's why it's so tough for a one-on-one. Like you're a corner, you don't know where the ball's going. That's so hard. Looks like that guy said O-line had no Davis or Cody, to be fair. That is very true. No Nate Davis either. So it's not like this is the full starting offensive line. Nanner said, yeah, I mean, today was concerning, but there were some good plays as well. Absolutely. And, you know, we kind of touched on that. We knew that today wasn't perfect, but as a whole, now that training camp has concluded, I think as a whole, it was more positive reports than negative, especially on both sides, but especially for QB1 and this offense. And I think we haven't seen something like that in a minute. So it's just good to see the other side of the coin. And then Nanner said, you know who impressed me a few times today was actually Isaiah Ford. Man, he had that big, I think, catch in the last preseason game on that third down to the sideline. That was beautiful. So that's good to see. Maybe he hops up higher on the depth chart. And then Tareen said, why are we signing? Oh, sorry. Go ahead. You were going to.
Oh, no. Why are we signing so many? We can pull it up.
Yeah. Why are we signing so many linebackers? Is somebody injured? I mean, people are sitting out. We don't know. Everything's undisclosed, so I can't make assumptions. I'm not going to with injuries, but it's never bad to have depth. That's all I'm going to say. So anytime I see a signing, I'm not mad about it unless something has been let known to the public that there's an injury. I'm just going to assume we're just trying to fill this team with more competition, you know?
Yeah. And this is so Tyson, is it, how do you say his last name?
I think it's Bagant or Badgett. Maybe it's Badgett. Badgett or Bagant.
Anyways, I'm going to go with Tyson, but I do like him. I liked what I saw on last Saturday. I thought he, performed pretty well. Our last, Robert Schmitz, he was on the pod. He did a late all 22 stream, which we do on about Mondays or Tuesday, where we just kind of go over the film. And he joined us, and I mean, he's a huge fan. He's a huge fan of him. But today he kind of balled out, and I believe he's the third. I think he kind of jumped Peterman, if I'm not mistaken, as far as getting those reps for the third string. But he had he had 3 touchdown passes, 2 to Robert Tonyan, which I love. That Tonyan signing is, I think it's gonna.
You saw
pairs so well with Kmet.
You saw in 1920 how Fields said he has the best hands on the team, like fluid, and his stats show that too. Also, like he is a great pass catcher. So that's going to be a great trusted third down drop off. And we have Kmet. Oh, a lot of 12 formation. It's going to be great. 12 personnel. I'm excited for that.
Yeah.
And then Turing might be QB2. Yeah, I mean PJ Walker isn't looking too hot. But I will say this, right? What they want for a second quarterback, like most teams, is they want experience. And so far, Walker has more NFL experience. He's started.
When's the last time we had when's the last time the Bears have developed a quarterback, like taken a young guy and let him sit for a couple of years? Like, is he going to be, is he going to replace Fields in the next 5 years? No, hopefully not.
Yeah, hopefully
but
not.
to have maybe say 2024 for him to be the backup and to be able to be in this system and seems like he's flashed a little bit. Again, it's so early, so we don't know. But if the Bears can develop him and he could be the backup quarterback 2024, and I mean that would be a great outcome. The Bears.
Yeah, I think you should.
Right.
I think the 49ers have shown you that, like, you should always have 3 quarterbacks that you feel comfortable with. Obviously, none of them is going to be good as QB1, but there's just injuries are happening so frequently. And so it's happened. The injuries are getting a little bit, I'd say, like, the injuries are causing players to be out longer. So you need to have as many players ready to go that know the offense that can help you get wins, because as we know, the NFL season is long. So you're going to expect these people are going to be out. Nanner said Peterman was throwing to tight ends on the other end of the field while Tyson worked in with the wide receivers and between PJ and Justin. So it looks like Tyson was working with PJ and Justin, so that would make you think it's QB3 and Peterman's 4 on his way out, but we'll have to wait and see.
No, I agree.
We'll have to wait and see.
See your Ficky. Anything else from the chat, Ficky? Anything else you want to say?
Nope. Nah, that's about it. It was great to have Kyle on. That was fantastic. I love it. Yep. We need more of that. I'm ready for week 1. Get me to week 1. Please get me to week 1.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. So Ficky, man, let's just talk. We have quite a few people still in here. If you guys have any other questions before we go ahead and get them in. Again, if you like the content, you like the interviews, you like the vibes, go ahead and leave a like button. Or like the video, sub to the channel. We do appreciate it. It does help the channel grow. we appreciate, first of all the love and support with everybody since we kind of started this show. Ficky, man, you have anything to say before we head out of here?
Yeah, I was gonna say, also hit that notification bell. So when we do go live like this with a great guest, you just get notified on your phone. So you don't have to worry about missing out on the great stuff that we have to talk about. And then also we do have a Discord set up that we're gonna probably get going. And so get expected for that. It'll be free to join. You can just hop in there and we'll just be talking sports, life, all different types of stuff, just building a community around here. So get ready for that. That should be exciting. And then obviously give Dave a follow on Twitter if you haven't already. That man's got 1 million followers. We'll be posting all the great clips. Feel free to give me a follow if you like it as well. But hey, we're getting there. You got to dream it to achieve it. So we do have one more super chat from Tito again. Oh, it's pronounced Pizer. Perfect.
There we go.
But well, now
shout out to Tito, man.
Yeah, fire. Thanks for the $5 super chat. Also need to learn how to pronounce baguette. So if anyone knows that one, that'd be next. Baguette might win it. You think Niners will get Bosa deal done? If not, what do the Bears got to do to make it happen? That deal's going to get done. And if we have to, because I think he's 28 now. So I don't know if trading for him aligns with kind of our I'd say our window. We get him. He's going to be great. I wouldn't be mad about the trade, but it kind of reminds me of like the Mac trade all over again. You get him at like 26, 27, right around his peak.
Dude, Bosa's 25.
Oh, I must be thinking about, he's only 25?
Nick Bosa? Yeah.
Oh man, was Joey? Joey's older then.
Yeah, I think you're thinking his brother. Yeah, his older brother.
Joey's older in charge.
Man, okay, I mean, because I was gonna say, I think he fits the timeline. I think he fits the timeline with Bears. If Justin Fields is the guy, man.
Then do it.
Because you could be contending next year.
He's Ohio State boy, right?
He went to Ohio State. Yeah, 6'4". Yeah. He's just a beast, man. And so the Bears need an edge. You get him. You have the draft capital next year. Now, again, you could use it on a draft pick, but
we would lose it. He'd
you
go
have
for
to
at least a first
but
for him. But I don't think go ahead.
But say everything goes perfectly this season. The Bears either win the division or get a wild card spot. You have DJ Moore, who is the number 1 receiver. He's the guy. You have Chase Claypool, who proves that, hey, he can be a solid number 2, maybe number 3, puts up decent numbers. Mooney bounces back. And then, of course, Justin Fields, and the offense just thrives. And Justin Fields takes that leap. Going into next year, you have so many areas, so many opportunities as far as to either you can reload, or as far as actually you could just bring in Bosa. You're going to have still, I think, top 5 cap space after you extend a couple more players. So the possibilities are just kind of limitless. And if Justin is the guy, it makes it even more. So I think if Justin's the guy, you at least entertain it. But it's almost like it's going to be done now. Because he's not in camp, apparently. He's holding out.
But I don't think
extend into the regular season.
But I don't think he's getting fined. So I think the 49ers are dropping the fine. So that makes me think they're okay. They're negotiating. And bro, teams typically, right? You barely ever see it. Teams do not let go of these type of star players.
Yeah.
You might be seeing it a little bit more,
right.
Unless they're disgruntled with the organization. That's completely different. You know what I mean? Like if they're like, I don't want to be here, get me out, and they force the way out, then yeah. So to answer your question, Tito, yes, I would love that depending on what we give up, and Fields has to be balling out. Because if Fields is not, it's literally the Mac trade all over again where, oh, great, now we have all these other pieces, but our quarterback's doo-doo. So we can't have that. We can't go through that again. At least personally, I can't. So I can't.
No,
my heart can only take so much.
Man, when it comes to no, I don't think I said, Bosa fits the timeline. He would, but I don't think he's going to be there come next year because it takes a little bit. We're going to have to find out kind of what Justin Fields is and see if he is the guy. And you can't make that type of trade right now because you don't know if you're going to be looking for a quarterback. Speaking of quarterback, Tito again, he says Panthers suck. We could get Harrison Jr. He's talking about Marvin Harrison Jr.
Yes.
Perhaps the greatest prospect since Calvin Johnson.
That's what they'd be saying.
Maybe better. I've heard he's better. That man in a Bears uniform,
I mean, there hasn't been
who the quarterback is.
The last wide receiver to go top 5 was Calvin Johnson. He went 3. So, and they're expecting Marvin. It's basically Jefferson was top 10. No, was he? No, he fell outside.
Was he?
There's been some top 10s. Like Devontae Smith was top 10.
Yeah.
There's some people who have been top 10, but like top 5, you don't get that because normally it's like quarterback, tackle. or defensive end.
Right.
You know what I mean? And next year's draft, they're expecting it's going to be like quarterback Marvin Harrison. So basically Caleb Williams, the guy from North Carolina, which I can't remember off the top of my head, and then Marvin Harrison Jr. So it'll be interesting to see. We still have a full season to get through, so I'm not getting on the hype train yet of that because I don't know if that can happen or where our picks will be at. But boy, that
22.
is an ideal world.
He was the 22nd pick in the 20th or in the 2020 draft. 22nd.
Yep.
Man.
Yep.
Was that the year we got Fields, or no? Fields was 2021 because we didn't have a pick. We didn't have a first rounder 2020.
That was Mac. That was thanks to Mac. So.
Yeah. Man.
Oh, wait. I think he said Corey Davis was the last at 5. Maybe I'm thinking top 3. I think Calvin went 3 to Lions, and he said didn't work out. Yeah. Davis, so, I'll be – if we get him, that's only a good sign because that means Fields played well. So that's all we care about. If Fields does well, we have enough ammunition with the cap space, with draft picks, that we can go out there and make some extra splash moves, right? We have a whole nother free agency to go through as well. We're going to get some pieces from there. There'll probably be a disgruntled star. Maybe we make a trade. We'll see what happens. It's going to be a fun season either way. I can't wait for week 1. Let's get there.
It's coming, man. It's coming. We still have quite a few people in the chat. So if you guys have any other questions, we'll stick around for just a few more minutes. I'm enjoying it. Ficky, man. Any other thoughts about Justin Fields? So I guess we can end it here if we don't get any more questions. And we appreciate everyone that's kind of tuning in. Again, if you like the content, want to help support, like the video, subscribe if you really want to. But Justin Fields, he's not playing. Who do you think needs to play? And who do you think obviously is okay with sitting outside of Fields? Like, do you want Claypool if he's ready to go? Do you want Mooney to get a few more snaps? Sit.
Nope.
Okay.
Sit.
I guess let me go through some names. I'll go through some names.
List. Yeah, list.
Yeah,
I was about to say.
Yeah, we'll go through. So, Khalil Herbert.
Sit. If you need to. So, I'd rather see Roschon Johnson. Let's get Roschon Johnson some reps. I want to see him play. And then Ebner, I think he's injured. So, but if he's not, he didn't practice. But I would like to see him as well. Khalil, we've seen what he can do. And running back is a very injured position. So I don't want that. Oh, Foreman too. Again, Foreman's been in the league for a minute. We don't need that. My bad.
Okay. So we went DJ Moore? No. Velus Jones Jr. if healthy? Yeah. That's oh no.
If healthy, yes. No, I'm saying if healthy, yes. Oh. If not healthy, no.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm on paper.
Dante Pettis, yeah. We won't go that far. Yeah.
I would say yes. Like a drive, maybe. Offensive line, I want to see a drive or so.
You're talking about the starting unit?
Yeah, the starting unit as a whole. Maybe not if you're injured, like Cody Whitehair, don't. Nate Davis, don't. But Lucas Patrick, Braxton Jones, Darnell Wright, Carter, all of those, I need to see some reps.
Okay.
Even Tevin Jenkins, maybe he kind of injury. If he doesn't, I'm okay with it. If he does, I'm cool. But a drive for him only.
Okay. So we went over that. Cole Kmet.
Maybe. I don't need to see. We know what Cole Kmet is. I don't need to see it.
Yeah.
I'm okay. Oh, by the way, the running back I was trying to think of was Homer. I want to see Homer play. Sorry, Travis Homer. That's what I was trying to think of. Thank you, Nanners.
No, yeah. He is amazing fantasy pickup. I know we're not a fantasy football podcast, but last couple years, that man is a great waiver wire pickup. If he is, depending on where he's at, I think he was in Seattle for a little bit, and man, he just had some crazy numbers he would put up. So I think he's sneaky. Let's see here, Kari blasting game.
The drive. He's not going to be in. I love Kari. I actually great fullback, great pickup, but he's not going to be in every play. So maybe you'll see a drive or something, get him out.
Yep. So Tito over here, Wright needs to play for sure. Kramer at center needs to play, which he got some reps today. I probably have to look, and see, but I don't know how he. Yeah, I don't think he played that great. He's so small. No offense to obviously there are some small players on the line, but he's just. I guess maybe when you compare him to some of these guys like Jenkins, Darnell Wright, he just looks. He's just not as big as these guys.
He's bigger than Mustapher, but when you saw Mustapher compared to someone like a Darnell Wright, you're like, bro, night and day. But I agree. What about on the defense? Go through some defense.
That's where I'm getting right here. So, DeMarcus Walker. He returned
I
to
can see.
practice.
Yeah, I can see. But if he's
Okay.
injured, obviously, no. But I can see.
No,
like
I think
a drive.
injuries aside, if they're dinged up, if there's
No.
some soft tissue,
Nothing.
sit him. Well, let's try next week. Let's for the dress rehearsal, which is funny because the Bears, I don't think they played in the third preseason game last year, like at all.
Maybe.
No starters.
Oh, okay. I can believe that. That's what I'm saying. Normally they don't play the guys in the third, so I think Fields might be done for the preseason.
Yeah, or maybe a drive.
It.
I don't know because you're getting so close. And maybe these reps with Indianapolis were good for him. Maybe
well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
I'm like they're getting. It's not like they're getting practices still, and it's like the guys just sit and never touch a football for like 7 days. You know what I mean? So I'm not too concerned.
Yeah, absolutely. So let me go. We'll wrap it up here. I'll go through these. Yannick Ngakoue.
No.
Yeah, no, I don't need to see.
Just got off the plane. Yep. No.
Jack Sanborn.
Oh yeah, I can see some Jack. I can see some Jack.
That. Yeah, we need that too.
Yeah.
Jalen Johnson.
No.
Tyreek Stevenson.
Yes.
Okay. Kyler Gordon.
Yes, but not the full. Like, give me like a series or something.
Yeah. Terrell Smith.
Yes, I want to see more of him.
Okay. Eddie Jackson. He was out of practice.
No,
hopefully he's okay. But yeah,
I think he's okay.
Rest
but
him
no,
the rest.
Do not. Yes. No.
Elijah Hicks. Yes. Adrian Colbert. Yes.
Yep.
Brisker's still not practicing, so I doubt he gets in. But you don't play him.
No. Oh, and I think FFF says the starters did play. It was the Cleveland game. I can't remember, but you might be right, FFF.
Oh, so I can't. Oh, man, I can't either. But I'm so trusting you 100%. I got way too much in my brain. But
too much.
So Travis Gibson, absolutely. Yes. Let's see here. Zach Pickens, of course. Andrew Billings. That's an interesting one.
Yeah, Billings, yes, and Sewell. That's
Noah. Yeah, I want to see a lot of yeah.
And then also Tito said Tyler Scott for sure, but I think he's injured, so we may not see that.
Yeah, as long as they can kind of play, as long as they're healthy, Bayless, Tyler, some of these rookies, some of these second-year players, I think you got to get some reps in. But
spot on. That's what I was going to say. 2 years or less are people – this is the qualifications, what I feel like. You've been in the NFL for 2 years or less. I want to see you play something, right? You're fighting for a roster spot. It doesn't matter how long you've been on the team, but you're trying to make the team. You need to play. Everybody else, if you don't fit at least those qualifications, I'm so happy with you sitting because you've shown me enough in real life NFL games. That's how I feel.
Yeah. No, I agree with it. I love it. Hey, I think we'll end it there. We have a Saturday preseason game. We will be back Sunday, more than likely to recap it. We'll have, I believe we're actually going to have a Colts sideline reporter. He's from The Athletic. We'll get into that on Sunday, but he will be there. He's going to talk about camp, kind of what he saw from Justin Fields, and kind of give us a little bit a different perspective than kind of what we have on Fields. And I think it's going to be good. His name is James Boyd. You can check him out on The Athletic. He's there for the Colts. It's going to be a fun conversation. If you guys have questions for him, of course, be prepared. He'll talk about Anthony Richardson as well, kind of some similarities with him and Fields. But we can't wait for that recap. Can't wait to have him on. Ficky, anything else, man?
Bear down, baby. Let's go.
I love it. Hey, we're almost there. Football is almost here. Again, I hate to say it. I don't say it enough, I guess, throughout the episodes. If you like the content and you want to just help it, go ahead and like this video. You don't even have to subscribe. Just hit the like button if you like today's episode. Share
it to your people too. Share it to your other Bears fans, all your friends, mama, grandmama, dad, dog, whatever. Get the word out there that the Bears are back, baby.
Absolutely. It's going to be a fun season. We appreciate everyone who tuned in. And we'll see you next. We'll see you on Sunday.
Peace.